I've been wanting to do this video for a long time now, and I'm gonna be speaking in English in hope of reaching a wider audience. The 2022 World Cup just finished weeks ago with Argentina and France giving us the best football match there is. And the next one is gonna be in 2026. It's gonna be in the United States, Mexico, and Canada, which is gonna be another milestone since this is the first time that it will be hosted in 3 countries, and it's gonna be expanded from 32 to 48 teams. But what do we do? What do we do while waiting for the 2026 World Cup? Well, there are a lot of things to do personally and in the whole world for football. But I think one of the good things to do is to talk about the future. What's up, everyone? Let's talk about choosing the next FIFA World Cup host. So I'm going to be talking about the 2030 and the 2034 World Cup. And I think it's good to talk about the 2030 and the 2034 World Cup, including the 2034 World Cup, since World Cups are such a massive event that takes a lot of time and preparation and planning. So yeah, let's just dive right into it. While preparing this video, I've listed 3 World Cup bids, but there's actually 4. The first one is Morocco with their 5th World Cup bid, which is a record itself. The favorite among all of the World Cup bids, the Paraguay, Chile, Argentina, and Uruguay bid. And the weirdest among all of them is Spain, Portugal, and Ukraine. And then the 4th one, which I did not include because I thought it's so far-fetched to happen, but look now, like right now it's gaining a lot of traction, is Egypt, Greece, and Saudi Arabia. How I would choose the World Cup host. So how will I choose the next FIFA World Cup host, and who will they be? I'm gonna do it like the 2018 and 2022, with a lot of bribery, corruption, crime, scandal. Nah, I'm just kidding. No, of course not. I hope they don't do that. I hope it stops, okay? But we live in a cruel world. It's kind of the norm, but I hope that it never happens again. But yeah, I will do a double announcement, and I'm gonna announce the 2030 host and the 2034 host. And for the 2030, I choose Portugal, Spain, and Morocco. And for the 2034, I will choose the Paraguay, Uruguay, Chile, and Argentina. So I'm going to remove Ukraine in the Portugal-Spain bid because I don't think it makes sense. And I think it's extremely stupid that Ukraine, who is currently still at war with Russia, and by that time, I hope that they are now in the recovery path. I don't want them to have a lot of burden. And you know, I think it's I don't think they should be worrying about, you know, hosting a World Cup after being in a war within less than a decade by that time. So no Ukraine, and it's far. It's geographically, logistically hard to do. And I'm not gonna give South America the World Cup hosting yet because I want them to have more time. Right now, Argentina is facing an economic crisis, and I'd give them more time to, you know, recover and establish the things that they need in order to host the FIFA World Cup. I will be specifically more talking about the 2030 World Cup and the Spain, Portugal, Morocco bid that I want. Why am I including Morocco? Well, first of all, this is their 5th World Cup bid, which is a world record of not winning. And I think it's about time we give it to them. Second of all, they're actually near each other. Portugal, Spain is neighbors, but across the sea, it's Morocco. So I think, you know, that's less complicated than having it in Ukraine or having it in 3 different continents, which, you know, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and Greece are actually near with each other. But I think this one is way easier to do. So before we jump to 3 continents, 3 nations, maybe we could do 2 neighboring nations and 1 across the sea. And it's going to be Centennial World Cup, which that's the reason why the Uruguay bid is favorites, because that's something very meaningful and very historic to bring the World Cup back to where it started. But again, I think it's more important that we consider the impact that it will have to these people. I'd rather have, not host the World Cup or host it a little bit later than suffering from astonishing debt and just so many controversies and scandals. So it's a Centennial World Cup, and how will I make it meaningful and memorable? I'm going to host it for the first time in 2 different continents. Another reason why I wanted to be in Spain and Portugal is it's been more than a decade since the last World Cup was held in Europe. So 2018 Russia, 2030 Spain, Portugal, and Morocco. And Spain has the experience to host, and this is the most important for me. Spain and Portugal have the proper infrastructure needed to host the World Cup. We want the World Cup to be more sustainable, less debt, less controversies, and they could do it. Spain already has a lot of stadiums that fit the FIFA World Cup standard for hosting. You got new stadiums like Nou Mestalla of Valencia. They got the Metropolitan Stadium used by Atletico Madrid. Santiago Bernabeu Stadium, Estadio Santiago Bernabeu Stadium is being renovated. Camp Nou of Barcelona is also going to be renovated. I also hope that I pronounced the names properly. And in Portugal you have actually 3 that reached 40,000 above. That's the capacity that's needed for a World Cup stadium. This include Estadio da Luz of Benfica and Estadio José Alvalade of Sporting, which is both in Lisbon, and Estadio do Dragão of Porto, in Porto. And the 4th one, I'm gonna include the 4th one, is Estadio de Municipal de Braga, or Braga, the stadium in Braga. That is a magnificent stadium, and I don't care if it's under capacity by 10,000. It's just only 30,000, but look at the view. It has to host a World Cup for me. Anyway, so yeah, and for Morocco, they're gonna only focus on having 4 stadiums. So the 2026 needed 16 stadiums to host, so that it could accommodate all the number of teams. And we're gonna reach that with this bid, I believe. 8 in Spain, 4 in Portugal, and then 4 stadiums in Morocco. As for Morocco, they're just gonna have to worry about 4 stadiums, 4 cities. Either they're gonna build a new one or renovate the existing stadiums in these cities. I believe these cities are the best to host the World Cup. Tangier, Rabat, Casablanca, and Marrakesh, or it could be in Fez. I hope I pronounced the names correctly. So yeah, and we know, and here's the one thing, and I really want to happen, sustainability wise. I know that it will be used after the World Cup, because Morocco has a lot of football fans, and they're gonna watch their teams competing in their respective leagues, play in these stadiums. So it will be put in good use after the World Cup. For 2034, I actually am not familiar with these South American countries. Not yet. I'll learn. I'll research them. Hopefully be able to visit them someday. But yeah, since it's going to be 2034, I think we'll have more time to choose the best places and the best stadiums to host the World Cup, and where, if they're going to build new ones, or hopefully just renovate the currently used stadiums. Probably in, Buenos Aires, one of the stadiums there, of course. But yeah, I think that's going to be a good discussion in the comment section. What stadiums do you think, and what cities do you think will best host the Uruguay, Paraguay, Chile, Argentina 2034 World Cup? So yeah, but that's the video for now. Thank you for watching. Please comment down below, what do you think I missed out, and if I need corrections or anything I can improve. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I hope you follow and subscribe.